More of the Zach Gelb Show on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey.
5:16 is the time in the Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios. The Zach Gelb Show rolls along on a Thursday. Earlier in the 4 o'clock hour, we got the Bengals perspective for Eagles-Bengals this Sunday at 1 o'clock from Dave Lapham, who's their color analyst on their radio broadcast. And now joining us on our very fine program is the 5-time Pro Bowler, the Eagles Hall of Famer, and their radio color analyst, and that's the great Mike Quick, who joins us right now. Mike, appreciate a few minutes. Zach Gelb here, and how are you?
I'm doing well, Zach. How about yourself?
Well, I'm doing great. I actually heard a rumor today, and I want to go right to the source. That's why we're having you on. A little birdie told me that you're contemplating coming out of retirement and playing wide receiver for the Eagles. Any truth to that rumor?
Oh, the secret's out, huh?
I got to bring up these wide receivers, though, because they've been very bad this year. Let's start with Nelson Agholor. You saw him not play on Monday. They benched him. I thought it was the right decision. Did you think that was the right decision?
Zach, I understand it. I don't know if it's necessarily the right decision, but I do understand the decision. The problem that Nelson Agholor has, there's only one way to get beyond that problem is to play through it. And I think as soon as Nelson Agholor starts to have some successes, catching the ball, have a few nice games, it's just going to help him the next time. The first catch is going to help the next catch. He needs to see some of the plays that he was able to make at USC. He needs to get comfortable in his skin at this level, making those same types of plays. And I see it all the time in him at practice, but I have not seen him become the mature player that he needs to be at this level.
Why do you think there's been such a hindrance? I understand that he's not catching the football, but this was a first-round talent. Is it just the pressure of Philadelphia? You see him a lot more than I do. Just what is it specifically?
I really think that's what it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, all of the things that he's been asked to do, I watch him do all the time. But in games, I think he presses too hard. I think he wants to be too perfect. I don't think he's a natural catcher. I think of the ball, I don't think he has these natural hands, just naturally gifted. I think it's something that he really has to work at. And when you press and you're already not a natural catcher of the football, it just makes it worse.
No doubt about that, as Mike Quick joins us right now on the Zach Gelb Show. Do you expect him to play on Sunday?
I do. I expect him to play. And I'm hoping, Jack, what I'm hoping from Nelson Agholor is to see him get the ball in his hands early. I think if they make him a part of the game plan, get the football into his hands early, he can help this team. He's a first-round talent, as you mentioned, and he is talented. And I think they're going to need Nelson Agholor as they progress, as Carson Wentz starts to grow in this offense and in the National Football League. They need to start to put the pieces around him, and I think Nelson Agholor could be one of those pieces.
A lot of hype was made about Bryce Treggs and also Paul Turner. What type of players do you think those two wide receivers could be?
Well, I think Treggs has some promise. I'm not sure if Paul Turner is athletic enough to really be effective at this level, especially if teams start to go man coverage on him. Against zone, yeah, you can scheme so that you can get a guy open against zone coverage, and he's got really good hands. He catches the ball well. That's the biggest asset that I see of Paul Turner. Treggs, his primary asset is the top-end speed. He needs a lot more work on route running and understanding defenses and understanding how his route is connected to the other routes within the route concepts. There are things that all of these guys need to learn. You got to keep in mind, this is a very young receiving core. Jordan Matthews is the veteran of the bunch, and Jordan Matthews hasn't been in the game at this level. This is just his third year. So just a couple of years ago, he was at Vandy catching balls down there in the South.
You mentioned Jordan Matthews, and Jordan Matthews is that debate. Is he a number one or is he a number two? Where do you lie on that argument?
Well, I think that for the Eagles to have well, let's put it this way. They right now don't have a receiver that's going to line up and threaten the other side. A receiver that's going to line up, and the defense has to really be concerned about this guy is the guy that could hurt us on any given play. And that's what this young quarterback needs. Carson Wentz needs, as I said, targets around him.
There's no doubt about that, because this is a team, you have the right quarterback, and there's a lot of work still to do. Still, for this year, they've exceeded my expectations. And I look at Carson Wentz, and I think this guy could be even better. And you look at what's happening in Dallas. They have a rookie quarterback, but they have an all-pro running back, and they have a very good offensive line, the best offensive line in football. So how do you evaluate Carson Wentz for this year? What have been some things that you like about his game, and what are some things you think he needs to improve on?
Well, there are all sorts of, fundamentals, he'll continue to work on his fundamentals, though he's pretty solid, but there's room for improvement. Decision-making, he's been good there, but there's room for improvement. Every area, he's a rookie quarterback, and it's hard for a rookie quarterback to come into this league and just be flawless. Of course, as soon as I say that, I think of Dak Prescott. There are exceptions to every generality, and he may be one. But as you said, his supporting cast has to be one of the best supporting casts in the National Football League. Carson Wentz, though, he's perfect for Philadelphia. His temperament, his skill set, the guy has a lot. He's got a bright future. He's going to be a great quarterback in this league, I think, for a long time.
He does have some favorable matchups this next few weeks. You play the Bengals. They're 22 total defense in the league. The Redskins, 24. You get that Dallas defense at the end of the year. They're 21. And these next 5 games specifically, though, when you look at everything that's happened, you understand he doesn't have the most talent around him. What type of football do you just want to see him play these next 5 games?
I just want to see him continue to improve. And, he's seeing different looks every week, because these different defensive coordinators, they understand what the Eagles do now offensively. It's not new like it was the first quarter of the season. So, they're going to throw things at him. And I want to see how well he handles the things that are thrown at him. And Doug Pederson as well, as a rookie head coach. They're going to see things. They're going to have to deal with things that are new to both them in the position that they're in. And it's a matter of how well they're able to handle it, how well they're able to prepare for things that they haven't seen that they're going to see at this level.
Now, another thing that I'm very impressed about him is just his maturity. I heard him speak Monday after the game, and that was a tough press conference because the press, I was in that room, they're pressing you on Nelson Agholor, why he didn't play, and also the interception that he threw. Just, have you ever really seen a kid that young just be this mature? Because what he's doing in a big stage like Philadelphia, that maturity is very impressive, Mike.
Yeah, there's nothing not to like. Everything, the kid is, I don't know how you explain it any better. He just does things the right way, the way he goes. And first of all, he loves the game. And to me, that's half the battle. When a guy really loves football, and this guy loves football, so he wants to know as much as he can know. He enjoys practicing. He enjoys the process. And yes, you're right. He's very mature. He understands the press and how to deal with the press and the people. But he also walks into a locker room with guys that are 10, 12 years older, and he understands and he gels perfectly with those guys. And those guys, although they're a lot older, they quickly will fall in line and follow Carson Wentz. He's just that type of person.
He's also going to need to get some more help around him like we've been talking about. We mentioned the wide receivers. Right now, if I was a defensive coordinator, I would really dare Wentz to throw the football, and the way I would do that is take away the run game. Wendell Smallwood is an intriguing name that I've seen so far. I thought he actually played a pretty darn good game on Monday night and should have got more touches. You've seen Wendell Smallwood before. What type of back do you think he could be for this team?
Explosive. He's strong. He fights for every yard. He has a nice lean to his running style. Very good talent. He sets all sorts of numbers at West Virginia. Again, a guy that I think has a very bright future. I want to see more of him catching the ball out of the backfield, because I think that that's something that he's going to be able to add at some point. The only element that I think that he really needs to improve on is his pass blocking and being able to pick up blitzes and that sort of thing, which is one of the last things to come for young running backs in the National Football League.
Mike Quick with us right now on the Zach Gelb Show, Fox Sports 920, The Jersey. It was disappointing on Monday night, especially the defensive line, because that's the strength of this football team. We've seen the sack numbers regress for this sack team, for this defensive line through this season. You're in the booth every game with Maro. You guys do a great job on the broadcast. What have you seen with this defensive line recently?
Well, I know that teams are, by and large, trying to keep Fletcher Cox out of the backfield. So he's getting a lot of double team. If not double team, he's getting chipped. They pay attention to Fletcher more than everyone else. And to me, that just means that these other guys have to be able to win their one-on-one matchups. So Connor Barwin, when he's on the field, Brandon Graham has been having a good season, the best season that he's had in his career. But still, these guys have to be more effective. And even Fletcher Cox, when he's in a situation where he's got a one-on-one, he's got to win. No question, he's got to win there. But the other guys, and Marcus Smith has played better. You know, the number one draft pick from a couple of years ago that you really haven't seen a lot out of. He has improved a whole lot. But this defensive front, bottom line is, when they've got one-on-one, they have to be able to win those one-on-one matchups regardless of who it is.
There's been a lot of criticism of Fletcher Cox this week, and yes, clearly he's getting more double-teamed, like you were just saying. Do you think that criticism is fair just because the sack numbers aren't there this year?
I don't. I understand it because that's what most people go on. But I understand the criticism, but when I watch the tape, I understand why his numbers are way off. And even the times that he was able to hurry Aaron Rodgers, flush him out of the pocket, it's still, if he's not getting sacks, then people are going to complain that he's not getting sacks. So if he's not getting tackles, if he's not getting 6-8 tackles a game, and he's not, people are going to complain about it. And that's just the nature of the beast, especially when you're a defensive lineman and you get this size contract that he got.
Let's get to the head coach and Doug Pederson. Got off to a good start, just like the entire team was, and then recently you've seen him struggle. The decisions against the Giants, the decision not to kick the field goal against the Cowboys, also that challenge the other night. I didn't really understand that, and you heard him change his tune on that throughout this week. With the coach and Doug Pederson, a rookie head coach, not a lot of other teams around the league. No other team actually was giving him a call to be the head coach. Jeffrey Lurie did, and that's how he ended up here in Philadelphia. With this coach, what do you like about him? What do you think needs to improve with the head coach and Doug Pederson?
I like the fact that he's a real good man. He has great relationships with the players, with his coaching staff, with everybody in the building. So you start with that. And then his ability to communicate his message to his players, that to me is a lot better than it was when he walked in the door as a rookie head coach. He's a football smart guy. He knows his stuff. He's got a really good coaching staff. So I'm hoping to see Doug successful in Philadelphia. This is not his first time in Philly, so he understands Philadelphia, and just a good guy, just an all-around good guy. And Jeffrey Lurie, this is not new to Jeffrey Lurie. When Jeffrey Lurie decided to hire Andy Reid, no one was calling for Andy Reid. Nobody was knocking down the door for Andy Reid to be a head coach. Andy Reid had a very successful tenure in Philadelphia, and there were a lot of teams by the time he was ready to leave Philadelphia that was willing to give anything to have Andy Reid as their head coach.
The players really do like him, because I was even at training camp, and it was a difference of night and day from the last coach to this coach, just by the way the players were speaking. How was he able to build that trust and that culture so quickly where the players really did like the hire?
I just don't think that he is that far removed from his days as a player. And it has been a while, but Doug has been in touch with this league, has been in touch with the players in the league. So he understands guys, and he understands the position that they're in, and he knows what they're going through, and he knows things that they don't even know that they're going to go through yet because he's dealt with it. I think that helps him out a whole lot in his relationships with the players in his locker room.
A lot of these evaluations in the next 5 games are going to be used for the future. Just as a team broadcaster, as someone that gets to see every play, what are some things that you look for in these next 5 games? Because the playoffs probably not going to happen, but what do you look for in these next 5 games?
Well, they've got a lot of young players that are getting valuable minutes, and just want to see the continued growth of an Isaac Seumalo, who's going to get a lot of playing time down the stretch. Jalen Mills, who's playing in the nickel, a lot of snaps he's getting. Sometimes he's playing half the game. All of these guys, and of course, the quarterback Carson. You want to see more of him and the development of him. But there's so many first, second year guys that I'm hoping to watch continue to develop. These guys continue to get comfortable at their positions in the National Football League so that they're ready to make a contribution. So when they start to add the pieces that are needed going forward, these young guys, this experience that they're getting now, is going to make them sharp so that they're ready when it's their time.
What intrigues you, Mike, about this game on Sunday? Because the Bengals have not been as good as they thought they were going to be this year.
Well, I think I pretty much said it. I want to see this team continue to improve. The Bengals are not, because they've lost some real key people. Gio Bernard out of the backfield, they lost him, and they lost A.J. Green. So that's a big portion of what they do offensively. But Andy Dalton's still a good player. He's still got a Pro Bowl tight end. They've got a lot of talent. This is just a team that, I just don't think that they've taken advantage of the window because the windows are small. They've had 4 or 5 years where they've gotten to the postseason, but unable to win in the postseason. And I don't know if their window is not starting to close, looking at where they are now with just 3 wins this late in the season.
Mike, before we get you on out of here, as the great Mike Quick joins us right now, it was a special scene on Monday for your broadcast partner and Merrill Reese. That was an awesome halftime scene as he joined you in the Eagles Hall of Fame. Also, Jeremiah Trotter as well. Just give me a quick thought on your broadcast partner and the great Merrill Reese. Well,
the great Merrill Reese is right. He is, to me, the best broadcaster in the National Football League. He is the dean, the longest tenured of any broadcaster. But I just have this, unique perspective because I get to watch the guy every week and watch how meticulous, how methodical he is about his craft. And it's just been a great thing for me to be able to sit there with him and enjoy, be a part of him making history as one of the best broadcasters that's ever done it. It's a treat for me each and every week.
I love listening to your broadcast because you guys entertain and you're not afraid to be critical, and you also give words of extolment when they're due. I'm just wondering, before we let you run, when that position was made available, and you and Merrill have been doing it for such a long time, how did you get involved in being the color analyst, and what was like your first conversation like with Merrill Reese when it was that time to be the color analyst of the Eagles?
Well, that was kind of different. I didn't understand what was going on. I had no idea how to do what I'm doing now. And I talked to Merrill about it, and he was confident that I could do it. And that helped me a whole lot for him to tell me that, because I'd known him my entire career, because he would always come to my locker and we would have conversation. And I think that just from the fact that I would always give him a soundbite after games, and he got to know me a little bit. He felt comfortable when they were looking for a guy to replace Dan Walters, that I would be able to grow into doing what we're doing. And I'm thankful that he had the foresight, and they asked me to do it. And 19 years later, we're still hanging out in the booth every Sunday.
Well, can't wait to hear 19 more years of Eagles football with both you and Merrill Reese behind the microphone. Mike, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Zach. Take care, buddy.
You too. There's Mike Quick joining us, the Eagles Hall of Famer on Fox Sports 920 The Jersey. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Time right now in the Princeton Orthopedic Associates studios of 5:36. I really don't know what to expect this Sunday. Conventional wisdom would tell me the Eagles are better than the Bengals, just by looking at the record. This Eagles team, though, I've been picking in the last few weeks, and they just haven't been showing up. Really. That defense has to give you something. That's the strength of this team, and they were winning those matchups earlier in the year, and now they're not. The offense, I give Wentz a pass. The interception was bad on Monday. They got to help him out, though. Doug has to run the football more down the stretch. Play Wendell Smallwood. Let's see what he could do. Because I thought he was impressive on Monday, and they got away from him. And it was ironic because teams want to take away the Birds' run game, and the coach took it away. Coach also has to show you a little bit more confidence in these next 5 games. He needs to give the fan base a little sense of relief that, hey, this guy knows what he's doing. Because there's sometimes this year you look at him and you say, is this really the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles? Good stuff, though, with Mike Quick. We'll take our final break of the day. When we get back, we got to get into the game tonight. Cowboys do play against good old Sam Bradford. How about that? And some MLB changes coming. And I applaud the MLB for that. We'll get into that next on the Zach Gelb Show.